What's up, my comic comrades? The time has come. The long-awaited sequel to Dark Knight's Metal, titled Death Metal, is finally here. For those of you who don't know, this is DC's big event book this year, and it's going to be tying together several events from previous years, including the aforementioned Dark Knight's Metal, Scott Snyder's run on Justice League, Josh Williamson's first arc on Batman Superman, the Flash Forward miniseries, Hell Arisen, and shockingly, even Doomsday Clock. There are probably a few other stories and titles that will be involved as well, but the point is, it's a lot. Death Metal is going to be a massive event and a very important book to the entirety of the DC Comics universe going forward, as it's going to pretty much set the new status quo for DC by the end of the series. And before we dive in, there's going to be spoilers galore for the entirety of the first issue of Death Metal, as well as some of the previous events that took place in the Justice League comic, Doomsday Clock, and so on, because again, they all tie into this book. In any case, let's see where the DC universe is headed. Let's start with a very brief backstory on some of the events that got us here, and I'd say the end of the Doomsday Clock story is particularly important. In Doomsday Clock issue 12, we see Superman inspire Dr. Manhattan to repair or correct everything he had previously changed in the DC universe. For those of you who don't know what I'm referring to, Dr. Manhattan was responsible for creating the New 52 by meddling with all the characters' lives and changing DC's history. But again, fast forward to the Doomsday Clock finale, and it was all fixed and made right by Dr. Manhattan. Jeff Johns actually did a fantastic job with the story. If you want to know more about the Doomsday Clock finale, we did a video on it, which you can find right here. Moving along, while Doomsday Clock was happening, DC was also releasing Scott Snyder's run on Justice League, which was really good as well. But in his finale issue on the Justice League title, he left us with a massive cliffhanger involving Perpetua, and he kind of undid everything Jeff Johns just fixed a couple of months prior in Doomsday Clock issue 12. As a fan, it was a bit confusing and had many people asking, myself included, why did you just undo all the continuity fixes to the DC universe you just gave us? Corrections that worked well, mind you. In addition to that, in the Flash Forward miniseries, we see the original Wally West get the Mobius chair and become the new Dr. Manhattan of sorts. You also have the Batman Superman title, which ties into the Hell Arisen miniseries, which is all about the Batman who laughs, who's obviously a main part of Death Metal. Speaking of, at the end of the Hell Arisen miniseries, we see Perpetua and the Batman who laughs team up for some ultimate plan. But the Justice League also have their own plan. At the end of Scott Snyder's Justice League run, in Justice League issue 39, we see the Quintessence help the Justice League after they're defeated by Perpetua. And the issue literally ends with the Justice League running through a magical doorway saying, "For everything." Obviously meaning this is their last-ditch effort to fix everything and save the multiverse. And that is a very brief summary of all the key components that have been leading up to Death Metal. Again, we will put links for all the episodes we made that led up to Death Metal in the description. Now, with all that said, it's finally time to dive in to Dark Knight's Death Metal issue 1. Oddly enough, the issue starts off with Sergeant Rock, a veteran of World War II, who's one of the most popular characters from war comics. Anyway, he's seemingly talking to us, the reader, giving an analogy about turd burgers. Yes, you heard me. Turd burgers, trying to get soldiers pumped up and ready for war. The next page then gives us a map of the DCU. Apparently, Earth Prime is now broken up into 4 main continents: Castle Bat, Megapocalypse, Themyscira, aka Hellscape, and the Arkham Wastelands, or the Fall of Captain Atom. Not really sure if the Arkham Wastelands and the Fall of Captain Atom are 2 different territories or not, but they're on the same continent, so I guess we'll find out in future issues. We then see Wonder Woman in Hell, which was formerly Themyscira. If you haven't got the hint by now, this last-ditch effort by the Justice League in issue 39 didn't go so well. Anyway, we see Wonder Woman holding some sort of magical chainsaw over lava, but then an almost completely withered Swamp Thing comes in saying he's coming and he's bringing a prisoner. And she replies, "I didn't know there were villains left in the world above." Swamp Thing says, "Oh, I can think of a few hundred up there at least." Pointy ears, bats on their chest. More evidence that things went awry, to say the least, as these first few pages are really setting up for some big changes. Anyway, they start making their way up to meet this new prisoner as they pass a bunch of cells where we see villains behind bars, like the Riddler, Captain Cold, Killer Croc, Eclipso, and of course, the Joker. The Joker lets us know that the world up there is ruled by Batman now. So to him, the cell underground is a paradise island. We are then introduced to some new Dark Knights, or evil alternate versions of Bruce, who bring this mysterious prisoner. And it has to be mentioned, one of these evil Dark Knights is the animatronic T-Rex from the Batcave. How is this possible, you ask? Well, as Wonder Woman says, Bruce uploaded his consciousness into the robot dinosaur in the last moments before the cave collapsed on him. So the robot dinosaur from the Batcave now possesses Bruce's consciousness, giving us a Batman T-Rex. That right here alone proves Scott Snyder is such a successful writer at DC, they will even let him put a Batman dinosaur in their main event book. I gotta say, it is so crazy and ridiculous. It's awesome. Anyway, one of the Batmen then tells Wonder Woman that the Lord wants him thrown in the pits, and he also wants to see his Justice League at his side. But before she goes up, the mysterious prisoner is taken down to the pits and whispers to Wonder Woman, "Diana, remember." And she says, "It can't be." On the next page, we see an assembly of the Justice League for the now Lord Batman Who Laughs. It consists of Harley Quinn, Dr. Arkham, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Mr. Miracle, Superman via a projection, Shazam, Spectre, and more. We learn that he sends all of them out to capture anyone who's left in their respective territories. That's right, the Batman Who Laughs, or Lord Batman Who Laughs, now with a crown on his head looking all regal and demonic at the same time, rules Earth Prime. And he tells the League that Perpetua has destroyed another universe, Earth 22. He says they fought pointlessly, and out of 52 Earths, only 8 remain. And once those are gone, Perpetua and I will remake the universe as we please. As he's giving his stereotypical villain rant, Batman contacts Wonder Woman via a psychic link that Martian Manhunter previously established. Batman just built his own version of the signal just in case, because Batman. He then proceeds to tell Wonder Woman, "Look, you just melted down your jet. It's magic. I could never detect it coming or going. If we create armor out of the molten metal, we can infiltrate Castle Bat, then use it to create a world to hide on with whatever good is left." Wonder Woman replies, "A single planet as the multiverse falls, we have to get all the world back to win." Batman responds, "I barely remember how we lost. You were the last to fall though. What happened?" Then on the next page, we get an image of the Justice League going through the doorway we saw in Justice League issue 39. But on the second image, we see them being torn apart by some sort of energy, which we could only assume is Perpetua. At this point, the Batman Who Laughs comes up to Diana and says, "Lost in thought?" She replies, "What?" And he basically says, "I've seen many worlds, Diana. On some were enemies, some were lovers, even parents. Meaning I know you better than your Bruce did. So I'll ask once, what secret are you keeping?" Of course, Wonder Woman doesn't say anything because she's no narc. Then as he's interrogating her, arrows come from out of the woods, but the Batman Who Laughs groblins jump up to deflect the arrow. The Batman Who Laughs says, "Bruce, is that you? Let me guess, you're wearing the cloak of erasure, given to us by Zatanna that time we saved her father from Neuron. Come on, I know you." And then a badass looking Batman replies, "You know me, you don't know Batman." Then Wonder Woman says, "Bruce, no." The Batman Who Laughs is like, "Nice coat. You look like someone here to kill me and dance on my grave. Luckily for me, you don't kill." Batman replies, "I don't dance either, but I'll make an exception in your case." Is the main continuity Batman about to kill in this series? Only time will tell. Some crazy stuff is going down. The Batman Who Laughs then starts chuckling at his witty remark before saying, "Kill him," as he unleashes a bunch of evil Dark Knights, like a Plastic Man Batman, a Clayface Batman, Deathstroke Batman, even freaking Scarecrow and Etrigan, all evil Batman themed. Can I just add that I would really like to read Bruce turning into Etrigan and becoming an evil Batman story, so please, expand upon this. Anyway, all hell breaks out with him unleashing these Batmen. The Batman Who Laughs says, "You're not gonna say anything, Bruce? The brave men and women buried here, they'd be disappointed. I mean, what would you say to them right now?" Batman replies, "Just one word really, rise," as he lifts up his left arm wearing a Black Lantern ring, bringing the dead who fought on this land before and died back to life, setting them loose on the Batman Who Laughs and his army. That's right, Batman just raised an army of the dead to fight for him. That is the most Batman thing I've read in a very long time, and I love it. Batman then tells Diana, "We need to fight him like this. It's what I came to show you. Street battles, small wins, save the ones we can." But Wonder Woman is like, "No, we have to fix it all, find a way back. What you want is not enough." And he replies, "We have to save what's left. I'm sorry." We are then taken to deep space, Ossex to be exact, which is a planet made of living bone where Lobo is digging a hole retrieving something I'm sure that will come back around in later issues. After this, we see Wonder Woman go down to the pit to talk to this mysterious prisoner from earlier. Swamp Thing warns her, if you go down there, he might suspect, and he might come for you. "I am not powerful enough to fight beside you anymore." And she says, "Alec, you should run now. I can't take this darkness anymore, and I can't fight the way Bruce wants. There has to be a way back, to turn it all back." And he replies, "I will be here when you return, ready to fight by your side, best I can." And she says, "Thank you, old friend." Anyway, when she makes it to the bottom of the pit, we see the prisoner is Dr. Manhattan Wally West. What the hell is happening here? How is this dude even captured? Did I miss something? Because this is just nuts, that Wally West has the power of Dr. Manhattan and he's captured. What? Anyway, she's like, Wally, you've been around the multiverse. Help me understand what I saw. I remember all of us fighting Perpetua and the Batman Who Laughs. I remember harnessing some blue energy like the one emitting from you now, and Perpetua using an opposing power. Then I remember nothing until evil Batman was swarming the Earth. Tell me what happened. Wally responds, I will, but first, just know that if I could erase everything I've done, I would. I'm so tired, Diana, I just want to be me again. She then replies, tell me how to win. Wally then says, all right, but to understand the path forward, you must understand the past. I've traveled this multiverse as other Flashes before me, and what I learned is that all the power in our reality gathers around two poles. Every positive energy in our universe, the speed force, the emotional spectrum, the forces of justice. They are in essence connective. They link us to each other, into our past, reminding us we are part of one epic generational story. At the other pole, the opposing power rages. I have come to call it crisis energy, anti-life, chaos magic, the forces of doom. All power that disrupts, that takes instead of gives. Power based in selfishness, greed, predation. Crisis energy looks to shatter connection and make only one moment important. There is only now. There is only us. There is only me. Wonder Woman says, you still have this connective energy in you, Wally. Can we use it to fight? He replies, no, I am far too weak and she is far too strong. Throughout the void, beings like Perpetua are tasked with starting multiverses. They do this using connective energy born of the presence of the source. These beings birth a reality and then they die, giving themselves to the baby multiverse. But the mother of our multiverse, Perpetua, started our reality with crisis energy. Her goal was to create a multiverse with no memory, one that would live forever in a self-renewing loop of its own importance. A multiverse that would prey on others, absorb them, and forget them, vampiric and eternally devoted to her. When her kind found out what she had done, they began our reality over and trapped her in the source wall, in the hopes that eventually, by watching our growth, she might learn to love us. But instead, she raged inside her wall. Whenever she could, she whispered to whoever might hear her, whoever might listen, stoking desire of greed, instigating crises. In our battle with her last Scion, Barbados broke the source wall itself, freeing her, and since then she has become powerful again, nursed to health by her newest acolyte, Lex Luthor. Wally continues to say, not long ago, a being from another reality, brimming with connective energy, Dr. Manhattan, tried to mend the fractures in our multiverse, to heal the scars of former crises. But his attempt did not have the intended effect. So the quintessence gathered the energy and gave it to you and the League to fight Perpetua. You harnessed all connective energy and she harnessed all crisis energy, and you battled. What happened in the clash, I don't know. Only that it exhausted both forces in a blast so powerful it burned out the sun. Wonder Woman then asks, how is Perpetua so powerful still then? And Wally says, the Batman Who Laughs. He promised Perpetua life, so she chose him over Luthor. He then would provide her with a conduit to the dark multiverse, where the greatest crises are forever happening, as long as we remember them. At this point in time, the Batman Who Laughs shows up saying, please pretend I'm not here. Wonder Woman then says, stay back, demon, and he replies, all your friends are in my prison on New Apocalypse. I could have them killed with one word, and she says you won't kill them because if you do, no one will remember the crises. You'll have no way to feed the power to your queen. The Batman Who Laughs says, but I have my own plans, so let us not fight. He continues to talk to Wonder Woman, getting in her face saying, let me guess, Batman wanted you to melt down your ship and make armor with it. Wonder Woman's like, that's the thing, monster, you know Bruce. He'd make a shield, but this isn't his story. He replies, so what would you do? Make a weapon, a sword? She goes, no, I already made it and it wouldn't just be a sword. As she whips out her chainsaw of truth to cut the Batman Who Laughs apart. Then on the next page, we see an evil Batman go through the portal telling the evil Robins, my God, it's happened. It's time to initiate his true plan. As he pushes a sad face button saying, Groblins, prepare the body of the final Bruce Wayne, which we get a glimpse of, and it appears to be a Dr. Manhattan Bruce Wayne. And then the comic ends with our main Batman getting Sergeant Rock for one last fight, everyone together. Man, oh man, there is a lot to take in with this comic. So much has happened in one issue, and I have so many questions. But we did see lots of awesome things like a Batman T-Rex robot, and then Batman using a Black Lantern ring to rise his very own army of the dead. And if that wasn't enough, Wally West as Dr. Manhattan has somehow been captured, and then the comic ends with the final Bruce Wayne, which apparently is a Dr. Manhattan Bruce Wayne. Things are getting crazy, people, and I, for one, am super curious and excited to see where all of this is going. Although I will say, as much as I love Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, they're two of my favorite creators in comics, they have some massive work to do to make this all cohesive and coherent by the end of the series. They have to tie together a lot, especially since they're now tying in Doomsday Clock and Dr. Manhattan. I don't even know what to think right now. I have to sit on this a little longer. But as always, let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And just like that, that brings another episode of Variant to a close. But if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to check out this episode right here. And if you like the channel, be sure to subscribe, comment, and like our videos. It helps us out. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.